Hello grade 10s, welcome back to another exciting video. I hope you are well and you have watched all the videos that I've posted for you guys with regards to economics. Now on today's video, we will be doing a past common test for March, downloaded from the Stanmore Physics website. So without wasting any more of your time, let's get into the question. It's 100 marks, 1.5 hours. So this is the question paper that was written last year in 2024 by the grade 10s in KwaZulu-Natal. So let's look at the instructions and informations. When you are given a question paper, there will be instructions and informations. So you'll be given section A. All the questions in section A should be answered. And then in section B, you will be given 3 questions, but you only have to answer 2 questions, okay? And number those questions according to the question paper. And then in section 3, you'll be given 2 questions. With those 2 questions is an essay type question. Answer only 1 question and number the question according to the question paper. All right, so instruction number 2 is number the questions correctly according to the numbering system used in the question paper. And then number 3, write the number of each question above each answer. So if you're answering for question 2, write question 2 at the top. If you're answering question 1, write question 1 at the top. Leave at least 1 line between subsections of each question. So when you are done with a question, skip a line or 2, okay? So they say leave at least 1. It can be 2 or 3, and then go to the next question. Answer questions in full sentences and ensure that the format, content, and context of your response comply with the cognitive requirements of the question. So if you are asked to name a certain thing for 6 marks, answer for 6 months, okay? Name and explain. So answer for 6 marks. If it's 2 marks, answer for 2 marks. Answer only the required number of questions, so you don't answer the whole question paper and say the teacher will choose. No, you choose. They might disqualify your entire question paper if you answer every question. So answers in excess of the required number will not be marked. Use only blue or black ink. Non-programmable pocket calculators may be used. Write legibly and present your work neatly. So here we have section A. They've given you, it's 20 marks, section A, which they say you can finish it in 15 minutes. On the left hand side, I have a question paper, the marking guideline, which is the memorandum of this question. So in question 1, it's a multiple choice question where you are given a statement and 3 and 4 options. You have to choose the correct one, okay? So various options are provided as possible answers to the following question. Write down the question number and write down the letter next to the question number in the answer book. So 1.1 says the goods and services that individual can live without are called. So you must choose what are those goods and services which individuals cannot live without. I have a video that I did with economics that I will link. I will link all the videos of economics grade 10 in the description box down below, so you can watch them or read your books before your textbook before you come and answer or check this video. So 1.1, you must write them down. Then we are going to discuss the answers together looking at the memo. So 1.1.2 says tangible items that can be used over and over again and can last a long period are called. So these are goods that can be used over and over again. Okay, and then we say the person who takes the financial risks by starting the business is called. That is 1.3. Who takes the risk of starting a business? What do we call a person that starts a business? 1.1.4 says the process of buying capital goods is referred to as capital goods. And then 1.1.5 says the lowest turning point of the business cycle is known as, we have equilibrium, peak, trough, and break even. Now let's look at our answers. The multiple choice question. The goods and services that individual can live without are called wants, and those that the individual cannot live without are called needs. So 1.1.1 matches with A. And then tangible items that can be used over and over again and can last a long period are called durable goods. So semi-durable cannot be used for a long time, over and over again. So the person who takes the financial risks by starting a business is called D, an entrepreneur. You go through with technology. Can a technology be a person who starts a business? No. Labor. Can it be a person who starts a business? No. Communication? No. So entrepreneurship is the answer. And then 1.1.4 says the process of buying capital goods is referred to as investment. It's not exports. Exports is taking goods out of the country to sell them outside. Specialization, something very different. Imports is bringing goods into the country. So the lowest turning point of the business cycle is known as the trough. The highest one is the peak. All right, so let's look at 1.2. Choose a description from column B that matches an item in column A. Write only the letter A to G next to the question 1.2.1 to 1.2.6 in the answer book. So let's look. In column A, 1.2.1, we have macroeconomics. 1.2.2, we have human rights. 1.2.3, we have non-durable goods. And then 1.2.4, we have capital-intensive production. 1.2.5, we have exports. 1.2.6, we have lagging indicators. So in column B, we have products that are sold to other countries. B, we have a technique of using machines to manufacture goods. C, we have the study of individual consumers and firms in the economy. D, we have an acceptable value and rules that are fair and just and everyone is entitled to. And then E, we have used only once to satisfy consumer needs and wants. A, method that releases on workers labor than equipment, changes direction after the economy has changed. So as you can look, some of the answers you are given in question or section A can be questions in section B and C. Okay, so it's important for you to study, guys. Let's look at this. So write your answers down, pause the video, try to do this example, and then let's mark it together. I hope you got everything right. So 1.2, matching items. So 1.2.1, which is microeconomics, the answer to microeconomics is C. So it's the study of individual consumers and firms in the economy. That's microeconomics. And then 1.2.2, which is human rights, matches with D, which is D is an acceptable value and rules that are fair and just, and everybody is entitled to. So those are human rights. And then we have non-durable goods. They match with E, used only once to satisfy consumer needs and wants. We did durable goods. So you see, whatever answer you gave in question A there, it's with number 1.1.2 is catching up with you here. So we want capital intensive production goes with number B. It's a technique of using machines to manufacture goods. And then 1.2.5, which is exports, matches with A, products that are sold to other countries. And then 1.2.6, lagging indicators, change direction after the economy has changed. Now let's look at 1.3. Give one term. So you're going to be given a statement or a definition, and you have to tell what is the definition. What is that definition for? So give one term for each of the following descriptions. Write only the term next to the question number in the answer book. Abbreviations and acronyms will not be accepted. So you must give the full name of what you think the following explanations or statements match with. Okay. 1.3.1 says an approach that study the economy as a whole. What is it called? What is that study called? And then 1.3.2 says the process whereby products are traded between producer to consumer for money. So that process whereby products are traded between producer to consumer for money. And then 1.3.3 says the compulsory payment made by households and firms to the government. And then 1.3.4, what do households and firms pay to the government? You have to know the feature in business cycle which indicates the general direction of the economy. So pause the video, do this example, and then let's reveal the answers. Number 1, an approach that studies the whole economy as a whole is the macroeconomics, and the process whereby products are traded between producer to consumer for money is exchange. Traded between the producer to consumer for money. So the producer gives something to the consumer and the consumer gives the producer money. So the compulsory payment made by households and firms to the government, it's taxes. And then the feature in the business cycle which indicates the general direction of the economy is the trend line. The trend line in the business cycle indicates the general direction of the economy. So that was your 20 marks. I hope you're able to get enough questions right. So this is section B, guys. In section B, you'll have question 2, question 3, and question 4. In question 2, you'll be having questions for macroeconomics. Okay, that is macroeconomics. And then after that, you will have they're both macroeconomics, but they are different. So the topics that we have in question 2 and in question 3 are combined in question 4 to make a miscellaneous question. So here you have to go through your questions when you are in the exam room or in your class when you're writing a test in March. It's not an exam, so you still be in your classes in comfortable desks. So you just have to choose. Go through the question. This is macroeconomics, 40 marks, 30 minutes. So you answer the following question. Name any 2 branches of economics. How can industries cause environmental damage in the country? You just go through the questions, okay? That's what you do when you get the question paper. Identify one career field an economic learner can follow from the extract. Which other skills is in demand in SA labor market? Briefly describe the term needs. Why is economics regarded as a social science? How can economic model be used in economic theories? So you're just going to go through this thing. 2.3 there, it's still question 2. And then question 3, compare question 2 and question 3 and question 4. Here in this question paper, you only have 2 section B's. You only have 2. In June you'll have 3, and in December but now you only have 2, so you have to choose one. So look at the question, mark them with your pencil, and see how many questions you can answer from question 1 and question 2. Where you can answer the most question, that is the question that you will run with. Okay, so don't just go with the first question. Mark yourself. All right, so let's go to question B and C. Answer the following questions. Name any 2 branches of economics. So with the branches of economics, here they are. We have econometrics, labor economics, monetary economics, development economics. So those are the example of branches of economics. Okay, so you can choose from any of the list. Make sure you watch the video that I posted in the description box. They will help you very much. I've posted the link. How can industries cause environmental damage to the economy? How can businesses damage the economy? That is the question. So you don't have to write explicitly what has been written in the textbook. You can paraphrase it, write it in your words. You will still get your full marks. Okay, here it has indicated that name any two branches of economics is 2 times 1. So everything you name will get 1 mark. So 1 for those two things that you had listed make up 2 marks. How can industries cause environmental damage in the economy? You have 1 times 2. So you just have to give one reason and write it in a full sentence. So here in the memo, they said by throwing chemicals that affect the quality of water in the river and sea, that is how they are going to damage the environment. Okay. And then another example, they say by using smoke from their factories, which in turn causes air pollution and climate change. So I know it's an answer that you can answer. How can businesses harm the economy? That is how you answer this question. Now 2.2 says study the information below and answer the questions that follow. So this is a scenario. The heading says career opportunities. So a study of economics that help to prepare you to enter a variety of different careers in the field of finance, manufacturing, commerce, tourism, and many others. It will also help you to apply for entrepreneurial talent and skills to create employment for yourself and others. So that is the scenario. Source was www.google.com. So 2.2.1 says identify one career field an economics learner can follow from the extract. So you go to the extract. You read the extract. A study of economics will help to prepare you to enter a variety of different careers in the field of finance. So you go there. They talked about finance, manufacturing, commerce, tourism, and any others. So you must identify one career that an economics learner can follow. It's either finance, manufacturing, commerce, or tourism, according to the scenario. Okay, so you choose any of those. As you can see there, you choose any of those: finance, tourism, manufacturing, and entrepreneurship. And then 2.2.2 says which other skills is in demand in SA labor market. So that is technicians and engineers. So you can even say chartered accountants, you can say doctors. So here they will give you any relevant answer as long as you have stated a skill that is in demand in the country. Okay. Briefly describe the term needs. Needs are things that we cannot live without. Okay. Goods and services that individuals cannot live without, those are needs. So they said 2 marks. So you need to construct a full sentence. You don't say briefly describe the term needs and you say housing, water, education. Is wrong. What are needs? Describing is saying what is this. If your grandmother asks you, my grandchild, what do you mean by needs? What are you going to say? Things that you cannot live without gogo or granny. That's what you're going to say. Okay, so that is what describing is. Listing is when they said list needs. That's when you can say shelter, water, education. But here we are explaining. So why is economics regarded as a social science? Because studies daily choices the people make and how to satisfy their unlimited needs and wants. That's why it is regarded as a social science. It's 2 marks, so you just need a full sentence. So economics study the human behavior. That is another 2 marks. It's a full sentence. How can economic models be used in economic theories? So models can be used to explain what is happening in a particular situation. It's a model. Economics, we use a lot of models. You will see in second term that there will be a whole lot of graphs. So why do you think graphs are used in economics? You can answer this one, okay? You say they chose here making theory more concrete in a verbal and mathematical description, or models can be used to explain what is happening in a particular situation and predict what's going to happen next. And then you hear there, the answer says accept any other relevant answer. So an answer should indicate why economic models are used. So 2.2.5, how can economic model be used in economic theories? That is 2.2.5. So models can be used to explain what is happening. Oh, there we have dealt with that. Now let's look at this picture. Study the information below and answer the questions that follow. Free goods versus economic goods. We have the source there. By who is the source? Identify one example of economic goods as shown above. So pens, watch, stapler, and hand sanitizer. So those are economic goods. And then 2.3.2 says name any one product that can be produced with trees. When you have trees, what is a product that can be produced? What do we get from trees? Books, furniture, wood, list go on. Here they also say paper, medicine. So the list goes on. And then 2.3.3 says briefly discuss the term opportunity cost. And then opportunity cost is when you have two options and you choose the other. That is opportunity cost. You can't take the two, you can only take one. So it's the value of the next best alternative not chosen, or the sacrifice people make by choosing one option over the other. Accept any relevant answer. Easy, busy to pass. Explain the importance of making choice by consumers. So that's 2.3.4. And then the answer says the consumers are making choices because resources are scarce. So why do consumers make choices? That is how you answer these questions. Well, here is this, in this memo, they said because resources are scarce and consumers have to prioritize products that satisfy their needs before buying luxury goods and services, or any other relevant answer. We are not failing. We cannot even afford to. Okay? That is explaining the importance of making choices by consumers. So why is it important for consumers to make choices? And then 2.3.5 says, why do producers choose economic goods over free goods? You have to know the difference between economic goods and free goods to answer this. And then the memo says economic goods have exchange value and usage value. The possession of economic goods indicates wealth, and economic goods have a price. Okay, that's why they will be choose and preferred over free goods. So differentiate between normative statement and positive statement in economics. So for normative statement is the statement that where economist has given his or her opinion, value, or judgment. The statement that focuses on what ought to be. The statement can be debated. But positive statement, a statement that deals with fact, is a factual issue. Normative is just their assumption. And then with positive statement, it can be proven or disproven, wrong or right. Now 2.5 says, how can the secondary sector be used to boost the economy? The secondary sector is the sector where raw materials are transformed to finished goods. So we're talking about manufacturing, factories making finished product. So the secondary sector can be used to boost the economy by manufacturing or producing goods and services that satisfy the needs and wants of the people, and creating local employment for the households, increasing industries that may diverse local production, or producing in quantities that will be exported to other countries and can earn foreign exchange, and contributing corporate tax to the government that can be used to pay. So when you are producing in the secondary sector, you are able to contribute towards tax. And this tax will be used for public goods. So that is how we can grow the economy using the secondary sector. It's 8 marks, so meaning you need 4 points in full sentences. Now we're in question 3. Answer any questions. So question 3.1 with 3.1.1, it says name 2 flaws found in a circular flow, that is real flow and money flow. So we have 2 flows in the circular flow. And then 3.1.2 says how can business cycle be measured? Well, the business cycle can be measured from peak to peak and from trough to trough, okay? And accept any relevant answer. So 3.2 says study the information below and answer the questions that follow. Well, this is the primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, GDP at basic prices, plus taxes on products, minus subsidies on products, and then GDP at market price. So here you are going to identify the method of national account used above. So that is the production method. Which sector contributes the most to South African GDP according to the extract? So you choose the one that has the most money between primary, secondary, and tertiary, and that is tertiary sector with 303,088,825. And then with 3.2.3, please discuss the term subsidy. So a subsidy refers to financial assistance that is given by the government to businesses. So government subsidize bread, brown bread or rice, so that they remain at a low price. Okay, if they're not subsidized, we'll be paying a hefty amount of money for them. And then 3.2.4 say why are SA GDP figures always greater than GNP figures? That is 3.2.4. South Africa invests less in other countries than the investment made by foreigners in South Africa. So it means that South Africa invests less in other countries. So we have more people investing in our country as a South Africa than we as South Africa are investing outside. That's why gross domestic product is always greater than gross national product. Okay? So calculate the GDP, which is gross domestic product, at market price A as shown in the table. So to calculate GDP at market price, we take the GDP at basic price plus it has been given to you. So GDP, which is 4,159,696 plus the 100,745 plus 108,906. So you minus the 108,906, and then you get the GDP at market price. It has been already shown for you, so you just have to follow that, the plus and the minus in between. And then 3.3, study the information below and answer the questions that follow. So it's a data response. You can be given a picture in economics and you have to answer based on that picture. Okay, the cycle peak. Okay, identify the graph shown by the picture below. It is a business cycle because of those waves. Which period is illustrated in the picture above? An upswing because it's going up. Briefly describe the term leading indicator. So a leading indicator are those indicators that change before the business cycle changes. So they tell economists about the future state of the economy. They reach the peak trough before economy reaches it. And then we have 3 3.3.4 says explain recovery as a phase of the business cycle. So recovery is the phase after depression. Okay, after the economy has been doing so well, the economy is trying to find itself. So you have to explain it as a phase. It is a phase where economic activity slowly starts to increase. It is the first phase after the trough. They start to hire few people and order more materials, and producers take out more loans to buy capital goods, and businesses are increasing their profits as more production takes place. So 3.3.5, how does load shedding affect the business cycle in SA? So yeah, load shedding, you know it, you can answer this. Business cycle may go to the recession depression because of load shedding, which can cause the decrease in production in businesses and in turn result in loss of profit. So it can take us to recession because there is low production. Businesses that may shut down as cannot bear the cost of replacing electricity with diesel. It's expensive. Public sector losing taxes as businesses shut down, and households may be retrenched in some sectors of the economy. And then or any other relevant answer. Anything you say that is relevant, you will get an answer. So think before you answer. Think, ponder upon a question before you answer. Discuss exogenous factors as causes of business cycle. Exogenous factors are external factors that affect the business cycle. These factors originate from outside the economic system. The monetarists believe that markets are inherently stable, and monetarists argue that government intervention is not necessary, as government can stabilize the stable economy. Example like flooding can damage infrastructure and agricultural product. Any other relevant answer? Okay, so we are in section C. We have 2 as a question and you have to answer 1. Okay, so you need to write it in. Answer any question of the 2 questions in the section in this answer book. So we need to have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Okay, so here are the 2 questions. We have question 5 and question 6. Question 5 is macroeconomics. Question 6 is still a macroeconomics. So this question 5 says, discuss in detail the role of markets in the circular flow of an open economy. So the role of market, underline role of markets in the circular flow of an open economy. So and then point number 2 for 10 marks is, how can the government contribute positively to the economy? That is how can the government contribute positively to the economy? Question 6 says, discuss in detail the effects of the business cycle. How can the endogenous factors benefit the economy? That is number 2. We didn't finish. Evaluate the effects of leakage in the economy. Leakage is what is leaving, everything that is leaving the economy. So those are the negative and positive impacts of leakages. Leakages is everything that leaves the economy. So government spending, savings, not spending. Spendings is like savings. It's like imports, where we are paying others and not receiving. So section C, question 5. For 20 marks, we have to discuss in detail the role of market in the circular flow of an open economy. So firstly, with an essay type question, you write an introduction. Introduction is where you introduce, you explain, brief explanation of maybe a circular flow and an open economy. So here they used markets coordinate economic activities and determine prices for goods and services. So the circular flow model is a simplified representation of the interaction between the participants in the economy. And you can also give a definition of open economy. Anything, as long as you are explaining markets, circular flow, open economy, you will get your 2 marks for your introduction. And then for the body, you start to answer the question. So you're going to talk about, you're going to discuss in detail the role of markets in the circular flow of an open economy. That's what you'll do first. Goods, product, and output markets. So these are the role of markets. We have the goods, the product, and the output markets. We have the factors, resource, and input market. We have the financial market. We have the money market, the capital market, the exchange market. So you talk about them in detail. Okay, these are markets for consumer. You explain them. You explain that market. What does it entail? What does it have? And its role in the circular flow. Okay, so here we have goods market. These are markets for consumer goods and services. In economics, a distinction is made between goods and services. Goods are defined as any tangible items such as food, clothing, and cars that satisfy some human needs and wants. Buying and selling of goods are a product in the market, including capital goods for trading of building and machinery, consumer goods market for trading of durable consumer goods, semi-durable consumer goods, and non-durable consumer goods. So services are defined as non-tangible actions and includes wholesale, retail, transport, and financial markets. So that is how you answer. Let's talk about factors, resource, input market. Factors of production are bought and sold in the factor market. The factor market includes the labor, property, and financial markets. Factor market are real flows, and they are accompanied by counter flows of income on the factor market. So you have explained all the factor market. Maximum max is 26. So just imagine, are you going to name 4 or 5 markets and then explain them, giving 4 examples of each or points of explanation? And then for the additional part, for 10 marks, it said, how can the government contribute positively towards the economy? How can they? What do you think the government can do? Buying the factors of production from households results in improved welfare of citizens. Buy products from the goods market and give that goods as public goods to the poor. Collect money from households and businesses to be used in infrastructure development. So how can the business contribute towards the economy? You can come up with those because any other relevant answer is acceptable. A conclusion is, therefore, after all that you have read, what do you conclude? Here they said the circular flow will be in equilibrium when leakages are equal to injection. So this is therefore its effect. Now you have gathered your evidence, therefore the fact remains that the circular flow will be at equilibrium when leakages are equal to injection and all participants play their functional roles effectively. So any other fact is acceptable. Any fact about the circular flow. So in question 6 we says, discuss in detail the effects of the business cycle. So for the body, you define what is a business cycle. That's what you tell us. A complete sentence. Business cycles are defined as consecutive periods of increasing and decreasing of economic activity. That is what is business cycle. And then the main part says, we asked to discuss in detail is the main part with 26 marks. Change in aggregate supply and aggregate demand. So aggregate supply is the total supply of goods and services in the economy that domestic firms are willing to sell at a certain price. And then during downswing of the business cycle, there is a decrease in total spending. During the upswing in the business cycle, there is increase in total spending. We asked to discuss the effects of business cycle. So changes in aggregate demand, this is how the business cycle affect the economy. With supply, aggregate supply and aggregate demand, changes in economic growth. What happens with changes in economic growth? what happens with employment with regards to the business cycle. Here it says during the downswing. So you have to explain what happens in the during the downswing and the upswing movement of the business cycle. Because here they said during the downswing of the business cycle, consumer demands and therefore output decrease. So when the economy is in the downswing, consumer demand and therefore output decrease, leading to a lower demand of labor. So consumers demand for consumers go down because they don't have money in downswing. So the sub headings are change in aggregate supply and aggregate demand. What happens there? What does the business cycle says about that? What the business cycle says about economic growth rate? What the business cycle says about employment? What the business cycle says about changes in price levels and changes in exchange rate? That's what you write there. So the effects of economically vulnerable. So what does how can the and then the effects on the economically vulnerable. What does the business cycle say? So for additional part, how can endogenous factors benefit the economy? That's what you have to answer. How can endogenous factors affect the economy? We had this question in the last question. So if you're able to answer that, if you know what is endogenous factors, then you'll be able to answer. Increasing consumption, businesses will get more profits and more labor will be employed to provide for increased demands of goods. Improved infrastructure that will attract foreign investors into the country. So for conclusion, it is a fact. What is the fact about business cycles? Here they say the business cycle is the indicator of the population of real GDP. So it helps economists predict the future using past information. So that is our full marks. We have 2 questions in section C. You answer 1 for 40 marks. 2 questions in section B. You answer 1 for 40 marks. And then question 1 is 20. 80 plus 40 plus 40 is 80 plus 20 is 100. Thank you very much for watching. Until the next one.